mentioned last week that they felt awkward using their phone. They were trying to check in on Facebook, and I think they were texting their son saying, hey, you can go online and watch. Don't feel awkward using your phone. I don't know if you're playing Candy Crush or some saga, or if you're on a Bible app. Use your phone. Check in. Like us. Do whatever you want. Stay connected. It's a way to get our church outside of these four walls. Cool? I think most of you guys know that our new service times, 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. You guys are here, so we haven't changed this one. But if you ever decide to come to the early service, it's at 9, not at 8:30 anymore. Hey, this morning we're going to be looking at living the good life. We all want to live the good life, right? I'm going to give you a 60-second summary about what we're going to be talking about. We all want to live the good life, but basically we have to figure out what it means. What is it? What is a good life? What does a good life entail of? What does it include? Money, health, family, fun. What makes life good? Well, we're going to be looking at examples, both examples in God's Word and examples of people just in the world that they were living the good life. They had everything in their life that we would consider the good life. Again, money and possessions and family and fun. And they said, this is not it. And we have the opportunity to learn from them so that we don't end up chasing our tails and striving after things that aren't going to get us where we want to go. And the cool thing is God doesn't make us guess about how to get the good life. He tells us in 1 Peter chapter 3, we just have to do 3 things if we want to love life and see good days. He said, number 1, watch your mouth. Number 2, watch your step. And number 3, watch your heart. And we're going to look at that this morning. He said, if you do those 3 things, you will live the good life. You can love life and see good days. Solomon, if you remember King Solomon, he had more money, he had more women, he had more stuff than he knew what to do with. He simplified it even further. He said, if you want to live the good life, if you want to love life, love God, keep his commandments. He simplified it that much. So, okay, let's get started. What's the good life? Is this the good life? Having so much money that you can just smoke your cigar. Is that how you smoke a cigar? I don't know how you smoke a cigar. Like this. I don't think you inhale. What's smoking a cigar with a $100 bill? That doesn't look that glamorous to me. Now, what about this next one? This one looks a little more tempting to me. Either way, you got to have money to live a life like that, though, right? And once you have enough money to be comfortable, well, shoot, you can live the good life, whatever it is for you. What do you think? Do you think the winners of this are living the good life right now? Remember how they had to leave it at 999 because they couldn't get up to like 1.6 billion? Do you think the winners of that are living the good life? Do you wish you would have won? Yes, every single one of you wish you would have won. We have some honest people and some not so brave people. You know, we spend more money on lottery tickets than every other form of entertainment combined. Why? Because who wants to be a millionaire? Every single one of us. Everyone wants to be a millionaire except the billionaires. They don't want to be millionaires. But it's the American dream to work hard and make all sorts of money and finally live the good life. And it shows that this was in 2014. You know, in 2016 with that $1.6 billion jackpot, tons of people that said, I've never bought a lottery ticket ever in my life, but I'm going to do it now. Why? Because they think that getting more money is going to get them out of financial troubles. It's going to make them happier. It's going to let them finally relax and live the good life. But studies have shown 2 things. Instead of getting out of financial troubles, winners of the lottery tend to get into more financial trouble than they were to begin with. And many of them end up bankrupt. Studies have shown that. And number 2, lottery winners aren't happier. They themselves say, they report less happiness, and they say that they get less joy out of daily activities than they did before they won the lottery. That's counterintuitive to us. We think if you have more money, of course you're going to be happier. Of course you're going to have fewer financial problems, but it's just not the case. The truth is, if we look at people who have lived the good life, again, both in the world and in God's Word, they say that's not it. This is not it. Some of you guys may have heard about Jack Whitaker. This was about 10 years ago. He won the biggest jackpot of that time for one single person to win. Do you see how many zeros are after that? $315 million. Can you imagine winning $315 million? We would have a whole list of things we would do with it, just like he probably did. But you can see him there in the hat, his wife, his daughter. He had a successful business already. He owned a contractor's business, a contracting business. He had a net worth of about $1 million, actually over $1 million at the time he won this. He said, you know what, I am so grateful to God that I've won this money. I'm going to give 10% of everything I've won to Christian charities. Everybody started asking him for money, as you can imagine. He set up a foundation with $14 million in it, hired an entire staff just to run it, just to give out his money to people he didn't even know. Well, as you can imagine, everybody was asking him for money. People he knew, people he didn't know, friends, family. He gave them money and it wasn't enough, and then they'd get mad, and it just got so overwhelming, he just started basically drinking. He started trying to drown away everybody's request by drinking. Then he got arrested twice, one for drunk driving, one for threatening a bar manager. A woman sued him for groping her at a dog racetrack. Thieves took $550,000 in cash out of his car while he was at a strip club. Who has $550,000 in cash? What is he going to use that cash for? But where's he hanging out at? Strip clubs. He needed a bunch of wands, baby. Strip clubs, dog tracks, bars. About a year later, thieves stole $200,000 more in cash out of his car. I think I'd learned from there not to keep hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash in your car. Caesars Atlantic City sued him for bouncing $1.5 million in bad checks. This guy already had $1 million to his name. He won $315 million. And one casino is suing him for $1.5 in bounced checks. His wife divorced him in 2003, so about a year later, his granddaughter's boyfriend died of an overdose in his house. Then his 17-year-old granddaughter, the girlfriend, she overdosed and died, 17 years old. He had been giving her $2,100 a week, probably because he felt like, she's young. I can't give her like $3 million. I'll just give her a weekly allowance. $2,100, that's not a bad weekly allowance. Don't you wish you had a grandpa giving you $2,100? Hey, Dad, give me $2,100. Don't you wish you had somebody giving you $2,100 weekly allowance? But what happened? She died of a drug overdose. So and then his daughter, the mother of the girl who died of a drug overdose, she died of unclear causes. So his wife leaves him. His granddaughter and her boyfriend, the boyfriend dies in his house. A plot was revealed by 2 club employees to drug his drinks so that they could take more money from him. And now Whitaker, with no family and no friends and no fortune, said, I wish I would have torn that ticket up. And we think, oh, that's just one guy. Story after story after story after story. Jeffrey Dampier, he won a measly $20 million. $20 million, that's nothing. And he said what you would think most good guys would say, sweet, loving guys would say, I'm going to give it to the people I love the most, my family. He had 9 brothers and sisters. He got each one of them a brand new house and a brand new car. He took 38 of his relatives on a week-long lavish Caribbean cruise. He bought his sister-in-law and her boyfriend an apartment. He bought it for them. And how did they repay him? That's what he did with his money. He didn't blow it all. He gave it to his friends and family, or his family. What did his family do? They killed him. They kidnapped him, shot him in the head to get the rest of his money. Because once we get a little, how much more do we want? A little more. How much more do we want then? A little more. If I were to ask each and every one of you, including myself, how much money do you want to make? We would say a little more. Would we ever say a little less? Psh, you kidding me? We're not stupid. We always want to make more because we think that if we have more, it'll make life more comfortable. How in the world can we live the good life without more money? Billy Bob Harrell. Look, he seems like such a nice guy. He's the one without the suit. He's getting this check for $31 million. He's a Pentecostal preacher. Well, of course we want we want preachers to get the money. They can put it into God's work. And he basically did. He lent all of his money away. He lost his money, lost his wife, and only 20 months after winning the lottery, he committed suicide. And it happens over and over and over. Did you guys hear about that Georgia kid? This was recent. He's 20 years old. He won $500,000. Nothing like these guys. And immediately he started getting texts from friends saying, be careful, people are going to come after you. Some states, I think in New Mexico, they tell you who wins. They don't keep it anonymous. They tell you who it is. And his friends were saying, be careful, dude. Be careful, dude. A lot of bad people out there, they're going to come after you for your money. And then one night, he wakes up with a gun to his head. He said, please don't kill me in front of my kids. He had kids and a wife at the house. Please, I'll give you my bank card. Please don't do anything in front of my kids. Please don't do this. He took his wallet and he threw it at them. And I guess for his bank card, but it didn't have cash in it. So what did they do? They killed him. It's not just lottery winners. We think this is the good life. This is the good life because they have lots of money. Some of us say, oh, money's just a lot of troubles. But it's not just lottery winners. You guys know this is just a tiny sample of the rock stars and movie stars that have tried to kill themselves. Who is that? Billy Joel, Elton John, Halle Berry, Johnny Cash, Drew Barrymore, Owen Wilson, Princess Diana, and Ozzy Osbourne. They've all tried to kill themselves. Because the truth is that people who make it to the top, find out it's not all it's cracked up to be. This is Mount Everest. Sir Edmund Hillary, the first guy who climbed Mount Everest. People just risk their lives, often give their lives, to accomplish this great feat. And he said that once he got to the top, the first man to stand on top of the world, the highest place in the world. And he said he stood there and he had this moment of exhilaration, this moment of triumph. And he said soon it was replaced by this bleakness as he's standing there thinking, now what? Is this it? I've spent my entire life to stand here and that's it? I mean, you guys, most of you have gone to the Grand Canyon. You see the Grand Canyon. It's beautiful. But after you stand there for about 5 minutes, it's like, all right, it's still beautiful. It's still majestic. What did you say?
It's over.
It's over. You turn around, you get in your car, and you go home. I mean, I can watch that on TV. But there was another Mount Everest climber where 12 of his fellow climbers died on the descent. Again, these people are giving their lives to accomplish, to reach it to the top, to accomplish these great feats. And he said, once I got to the top, I had 1 foot in China and 1 foot in Nepal, and that sounded awesome. And he said, I just couldn't summon up enough energy to care. I'm standing there, and it's pretty and all, so I took 4 pictures, 1 on each corner. And then I spent about 5 minutes on the rooftop of the world. And then I just started climbing down. King Solomon spent 40 years on the rooftop of the world. If you remember, he was the king of Israel for 40 years. God said, Solomon, what can I get for you, buddy? And he didn't say, hey, that Powerball ticket, give me that winning ticket. He asked for wisdom to lead God's people. And God said, you know what? That was a good answer. Because you asked for wisdom and you didn't ask for power and possessions and you didn't ask for all these things, I'm going to give all those things to you also. I'm not sure if that was a blessing or a curse, to tell you the truth. I'm not sure why God did that. But if anyone had the good life, it was King Solomon. He had money. He had women. He had paradise living. He had power. He had respect. He was pampered. Well, look at what he said. Ecclesiastes 2:1. I said to myself, this is Solomon, I said to myself, come now, I will test you with pleasure to find out what is good. But that proved to be meaningless. Laughter, I said, it's madness. What does pleasure accomplish? I tried cheering myself with wine and embracing folly. I undertook great projects. I built houses for myself and I planted vineyards. I made gardens and parks and planted all kinds of fruit trees in them. I made reservoirs to water groves of flourishing trees. You've heard of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, one of the wonders of the world? That was Solomon's. I bought male and female slaves, and I had other slaves who were born in my house. I also owned more herds and flocks than anyone in Jerusalem before me. I amassed silver and gold for myself and the treasures of kings and provinces. I acquired male and female singers and a harem as well, the delights of a man's heart. He wanted sex, he had it. He wanted a rock concert, he had it. He wanted someone to sing a lullaby to let him go to sleep while they were dangling coins in front of his face. He had it. He had everything a man could desire. He said, I became greater by far than anyone in Jerusalem before me. In all of this, my wisdom stayed with me. He's considering. He's thinking. Yeah, he's having fun, but he's having fun thinking, what are we supposed to do with this life that God's given us? It's okay to enjoy life. What are we supposed to do, though, while we're on this earth? He said in verse 10, I denied myself nothing my eyes desired. He saw a Twinkie, he ate it. He didn't care about his hips. He didn't care about his cholesterol. Anything his eyes desired, he took it. I refused my heart no pleasure. My heart took delight in all of my labor, and this was the reward for all of my toil. Yet, when I surveyed all that my hands had done, and what I had toiled to achieve, what I had worked so hard for, everything was meaningless. It was a chasing after the wind. Nothing was gained under the sun. So I hated life, because the work that is done under the sun was grievous to me. All of it is meaningless, a chasing after the wind. Solomon said, I tried possessions. I tried pleasure. I tried it all. I tried power. I tried pampering. The good life wasn't in any of those things. He was the richest man to ever live. He was the wisest man to ever live. And he said, the good life, it's not here. But I find that incredibly powerful. It shouldn't be depressing. It should be exhilarating, because he said, I tried those things. I was the wisest man to ever live, and I'm telling you, that's not it. If you're looking for the good life, you're not going to find it by chasing after those dreams. Thomas Edison said, I have not failed 700 times in his quest to invent the light bulb. I haven't even failed once. I have succeeded in proving that these 700 ways don't work. And when I have eliminated all of the ways that don't work, I will have found the way that will work. Did he? Yeah, he did. And there's great wisdom to what he said. He wasn't trying to build up his own self-esteem. I'm not a loser. I'm not a loser. He wasn't doing that. He was saying, hey, this is process of elimination. If we really want to achieve a light bulb, we have to figure out all the ways that won't give us that light bulb. Solomon did that for us. We all want to live the good life. We all want a life of satisfaction. We all want a life of peace and pleasure. Solomon said, I tried the 700 ways, and I'm telling you, in all of my wisdom, those things don't work. I just find that incredibly freeing and powerful. In the end, Solomon did find the one way to make the light bulb. He found the one way to get pleasure and in this life. He said, love God and keep his commands. We say, that's boring. That's not fun. Solomon said, in all of my wisdom, I'm telling you, how do you spend your life on this earth? Love God and keep his commandments. But right now we're going to be in Peter. Peter's going to give us 3 principles for how to live the good life. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. He says, for whoever desires to love life and see good days, he's going to give us the answer of how you can love life and see good days. Let him keep his tongue from evil and his lips from speaking deceit. Let him turn away from evil and do good, and let him seek peace and pursue it. For the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are open to their prayer, but the face of the Lord is against those who do evil. He's quoting here from Psalm 34. I love it when the New Testament quotes from the Old Testament, because a lot of the Old Testament, we're not sure how much applies to us and how much doesn't. And so when you see the Old Testament, New Testament guy quoting from the Old Testament saying, wow, look, this was valid thousands of years ago, and it's just as valid today. Psalm 34:12, almost verbatim, whoever of you loves life and desires to see many good days, keep your tongue from evil and your lips from telling lies. Turn from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. The eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are attentive to their cry. But the face of the Lord is against those who do evil, to blot out their name from the earth. You know, we like to think of God as just a loving God and a sweet God and a forgiving God. He says, you know those people who do evil? I want to blot their names off of the earth. I don't want God to ever look at me or to look at any of my loved ones or any of my friends or family or neighbors and say, I want to blot their name off the earth. But again, how do we in verse 10 of 1 Peter chapter 3, whoever desires to love life and see good days, let him keep his tongue from evil and his lips from speaking deceit. I can simplify that by saying, if you want to love life and see good days, watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. So many times we think, oh, what's the difference between a cuss word and a regular word? Like one letter. Does it make a difference if I say shoot or... I didn't say it. I didn't even hardly start to say it. I made you think it. You're right. What's the difference? 2 O's or an I? What does it matter? God says if you want to love life and see good days, keep your mouth from evil. Now, that's not only cuss words. That's gossip, talking bad about other people. Watch your mouth. Watch it. These kids want to act all grown up by speaking all trashy. It doesn't make you look grown up. It makes you look stupid. Old people want to look like kids by talking all trashy. It does make you look like kids. It makes you look stupid. Nobody looks smarter by talking trash. I mean, that's the kind of thing you do when you're young and you're stupid and you don't know better. We're not so young and stupid and we should know better. It doesn't do any good. And God says, look, you don't have to try to figure out the meaning of life. You don't have to figure out how to love life and have good days. If you want to love life and have good days, watch your mouth. Be quiet. I was going to say shut up in Spanish, but I didn't know if I should. Be quiet. But it's so easy. It's so easy to talk trash. It makes us feel good. It makes us feel like we have power. You're talking to me? Come here. You saying that out of your mouth? I'll shut that mouth for you. Walk over here. You walk over, you'll be limping back. Come on, let's do this, 40 Spice. It makes us feel good. We feel like we have control. But God is saying, hey, look, guys, I'm telling you, 3 really simple principles. You don't have to be 1 out of 2 billion that are going to win the Powerball. You just have to learn how to watch your mouth. Part of that is don't tell lies. He said specifically, keep your mouth from deceit. In Psalm 34, he specifically said, don't tell lies. Why do we tell lies? Most of us say, we don't tell lies. I'm not a liar. We're liars. Why do we lie? Because it's easy to lie. If somebody says, did you do that? No. They don't know. I know. It gives me power because I know something you don't know and you look like a fool and I look pretty smart. I didn't do that. I don't have sprinkles. I did not eat those sprinkles. Remember the video of the kid? No, I did not eat those sprinkles with sprinkles all over his face. We think we're so smart, but we get into this path of telling lies, and then it comes really naturally. And sometimes we can't help but lie. I don't know why they did this for Father's Day, but a few kids volunteered to have lie detector tests.
Have you ever spent any money you borrowed from me on drugs or alcohol?
No.
Oh.
I may have used it on drugs. I don't know. I don't like mark your bills and say from Dad.
Did you ever spend any of my money on drugs?
Most of it.
How many drugs are you on right now, and who did you get them from?
None. Right now. Usually my boyfriend.
Really? Time to find a new boyfriend.
What drugs is it you've done, Alex? I didn't get a really clear answer on that.
Pot, as you may have called it.
Keep going.
That's it.
Have you ever stolen from me?
I stole from you, and I told you, remember?
Have you ever outright stolen from your mother or me?
No, probably just the same. What is this thing?
He can't help but lie. I mean, some of the kids just told him straight up, yeah, I stole from you. Yeah, I used the money you gave me on drugs. Yeah, I did all that. But this one kid, every single time they asked him a question, a lie just flowed out of his lips. We can't help but lie sometimes. So, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that Lie Witness news that's on Jimmy Kimmel. That's crazy. They make up the craziest things, like when Obama did one of his speeches. They're like, hey, did you see that Obama speech last night? Oh, yeah, I saw that. What did you think when he came out wearing a woman's dress and he did cartwheels and he said that he's going to become a woman? What did you think of that? Oh, I thought that was really bad. Did you see that? Oh, yeah, I saw that. I thought that was really bad. Where were you when you saw that? I was at home and I was with friends and we all thought that was really bad. And you're like, dude, you are such a liar. Look at this one. This one's on Donald Trump.
We're talking to people about Donald Trump. Some of his comments about Muslims have some people comparing him with Hitler. Hitler's been trying to distance himself from Donald Trump. This morning, Hitler tweeted, Trump can kiss my wiener schnitzel, hashtag, I ain't trying to hear that. What was your reaction when you saw Hitler tweet that?
I think it was pretty funny.
You saw that?
Yes, I saw that on
Have
Twitter.
people been talking about it?
Yeah, it's all over my Twitter.
What are people saying?
People are laughing. People are saying that they're glad that Donald Trump is disqualified from the presidency.
By Hitler.
By Hitler.
What did you think of Donald Trump's statement, if it's brown, flush it down to Mexico?
I thought,
man, flush all that brown down to Mexico.
Whoa, did you really just say that? I agree with him. It's true. Yeah, it's true.
I still thought, oh my God, did you really say that?
Where were you when you saw him say that?
I was at home.
Yeah. Were you
on
with these guys?
television, and I was like, oh my God, did he really just say that?
He gives them an out, but they still just lie. Why? It feels better it's easier to lie, and it feels better than saying, no, man, I didn't see that. Sorry. We want to be on TV. We want to act like we're in the know. We want to act like we're cool, so we just lie. God says if you want to love life, and you want to find good days, live good days, watch your mouth. Don't talk trash. Don't lie. Don't gossip. Just be quiet. Number 2, whoever desires to love life and see good days, let him turn away from evil and do good. So if you want to love life and see good days, watch your mouth and watch your step. Don't go to bad places. Don't do bad things. It's okay. We don't want to stand out. We want to kind of blend in and be cool with everybody else. God says it's going to take you down the wrong path. If you want to live life, if you want to see good days, keep yourself from doing bad things. This morning we were talking about the Broncos versus the Patriots. You know, the Patriots have the reputation of being kind of cheaters, and one of the Broncos fans even said they all cheat. Every team cheats. It's just the Patriots are kind of more known for it than anybody else. And I told him that I was watching some videos last night where there was one baseball player, he was up for bat, and the pitch goes, it's going 95 miles an hour, and then the guy drops his bat, and he's holding his elbow, and he's shaking his elbow, and they just showed the instant replay. It missed him by a foot. It's like, dude, be smarter in your lies. Be smarter in your cheating. But cheating is just as easy as it is to lie. And I saw the soccer players where one guy went up to another one. They look like they're going to fight. And the soccer player just flew down. The other guy didn't touch him. Flew down and grabbed his leg and was writhing in pain on the ground. And then you see the camera on his face and he's smiling. And then they show the instant replay. The other guy didn't even hit him. Don't cheat. Don't cheat on your wife. Don't cheat on your taxes. Don't cheat in life. Don't clock in 30 minutes early or have your buddy clock in. I know it's easy. I know it's more fun to cheat than to tell the truth. They had one kid and they said, do you ever lie to your parents? And he said, yeah, what do you lie about? I tell them I've done my homework and I didn't. Why don't you do your homework? Because it's not fun. And he's like, why don't parents know that it's not fun? No, it's so much more fun to lie. It's so much more fun to cheat. It's so much more fun to get away with stuff and to feel like we're in power. But that moment of ecstasy, that moment of triumph is fleeting. And God is saying it doesn't last. If you want to love life, if you want to see good days, watch your mouth, watch your step. Don't cheat.
Why the camera for?
Chances are you've seen him.
Try to get to the restaurant.
Sympathized with his wheelchair, his drawn hands, his story ripped at your heart.
They give me money and to get some eat.
Lexington police say he's taken his act on tour of the city. We busted this bogus beggar right outside the police department, just minutes after a press conference about
I'm
it.
the best in Lex. Yeah, I'm really good at it, really good. I clear about $100,000 a year doing this.
The 30-year-old said he's from Austin, Texas, and has done the same thing there. He also says he's got a degree in speech-language pathology. He's combined that training with his wheelchair and found that panhandling pays.
Ready to move to another city and start this?
No, I'm not. I'm just beginning.
And just like that,
my bead boy, I'm just playing. I got to go, y'all. I got to make some money.
he was back at it again.
Why does he has a degree in, what was it, language pathology? Why is he doing it? It's probably more fun than making an honest living. But he's swindling nice-hearted people out of their money, making $100,000 a year doing it. They said, are you going to move to another? No, I'm just getting started. I'm the best in Lexington. Don't cheat. I know cheating is easy. I know it is. I know it's rewarding. I know lying is easy. And sometimes it's rewarding because we don't have to deal with the truth, and the truth is way more difficult. But we're talking this morning about how to live the good life, how to really love life. How many of us love life? How many of us feel like we have good days? But we feel like, even though God tells us, studies tell us, people tell us that have lived this good life, this is not it, guys. God's telling us how to live the good life. And we say, that's not fun. He says if you want to live the good life, watch your mouth, watch your step. And then he says, number 3, whoever desires to love life and see good days, let him seek peace and pursue it. Watch your heart. Seek peace. Do we seek peace? The word there is to hunt peace down. What do we do when someone cuts us off in traffic? Oh, that's okay. Bless you. Bless you. You must be in a bigger hurry than I am. Maybe you're rushing off to the hospital. Let me slow down a little bit for you. Is that what we do when someone cuts us off? Come here. We speed up. We get beside them. We give them this mad dog. And then we see it's some grandma. And then we think, oh. Or we stop at a stoplight right beside them and then try not to look at them because we're mad dogging them, getting up on their tail. We look for fights. We don't look for peace. Peace is boring. We find one little thing somebody said. We twist it all out of proportion. Oh, can you believe she said that to me? Oh, I've had that happen to me where somebody thought I said something. I didn't mean it that way at all. And I find out, of course, on Facebook, that someone's mad about something that someone said. And I was like, oh, heck, I think that's me. I think they're mad at me. So we had to call them. It's like, oh, I didn't mean that. That's not what I was talking about. But it's like somebody, they're looking for one thing that you say, and it's almost like, not to say that everybody's looking for a fight, but we're always kind of feeling like we're the victims, and people are saying stuff about us, and it kind of gives us attention and gives us, oh man, you can't say that about me. Come on over here. Always looking for a fight. God says if you want to love life and see good days, watch your mouth, watch your step, and watch your heart. Seek peace with people who are looking for a fight and for people who aren't looking for a fight. Seek peace in your families and your friends, people you don't even know. It doesn't come from what you do, like Tony's told us so many times before. It's not what you do, but it's why you do it. If you're peaceful on the inside, it's going to show on the outside. If you're full of turmoil and kind of this fighting spirit on the inside, it's going to show on the outside. Are you pursuing peace with those in your life? Check out this video. I'm going to tell you what some of the words are because I don't know if you can read it. Let me help. People think he's a fool. For education. What does he get in return for doing this every day? There you are. He gets nothing. He won't be richer. He won't appear on TV. Still anonymous. And not a bit more famous. She says, Mom. But what he does receive are emotions.
ความรู้สึก ได้เห็นความสุข
He witnesses happiness.
ได้เข้าใจ
Reaches a deeper understanding.
ได้ความรัก
He feels the love.
ได้ในสิ่ง
Receives
ที่
what
เงิน
money
ซื้อไม่ได้
can't buy.
ได้โลก
A
ที่สวย
world
งาม
made
กว่าเดิม
more beautiful. She says, here's extra.
ในชีวิตคุณ
And in your
อะไร
life,
คือสิ่งที่คุณต้อง
what
การ
is
มาก
that
ที่
that
สุด
you desire the most? God tells us how we can have the good life, how we can be living the good life. And it's not by more money, it's not by more stuff, it's not by more sex or more pleasure or more anything. He says if you want to live the good life, watch your mouth, watch your step, watch your heart. Pursue peace with the people in your life, people you know, people you don't know. Live a life of peace. Solomon at the end, in Ecclesiastes 12:13, he says, now all has been heard. I've told you everything that doesn't work in giving you pleasure in life. But here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God, keep his commandments. This is the duty of all mankind, for God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing, whether it's good or it's evil. So again, 60-second summary of what we've talked about, just so it's in our little mentes. We all want to have the good life. We all want the good life. We all want to love life and see good days. But we have to figure out what the good life means, what makes life good. Because if we think it's going to be more money and more pleasure and more family and more fun, we're going to go down the wrong path. We've seen from people, both in the Word and in the world, that what we often consider the good life isn't. It's a facade, it's an illusion, it's not there. They say this isn't it. So we can learn from that, and instead of striving after all these things that we know aren't going to work, we can instead take the path that God tells us. God tells us in Peter that if we want to love life and see good days, do 3 things. Watch your mouth, watch your heart, and watch your step. Just watch it. Be good. I mean, how many times can he say in so many different ways, just be good. Love God. That's what Solomon said. Solomon made it even simpler. Whose phone is ringing right now? Would that be the preacher's phone? Tell them we're in church. Tell them they ought to be here. Better be an emergency. Someone better be dying. Just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. Sorry. If you want to love life and see good days, watch your mouth, watch your step, watch your heart. Solomon simplified it even more. Fear God and obey him. It's not nearly as glamorous sounding. It's not nearly as exciting to think, oh, that doesn't sound much fun. But God says if we want to love life and see good days, just follow him, obey him, trust him, take his word for it. We can't do that without being saved, without being soaked, baptized, and without being serious about living for God. Otherwise, we're going to be just like Solomon, except for not so smart. But we're going to live our whole life and look back on it and say, what was all this for? This is all meaningless. We don't want to live life like that. Every single one of us has the opportunity to live the good life. Every one of us. But we have to have the wisdom to follow the path that God says will take us there, rather than the path that we think is going to take us there. Okay? All right, let's pray. Lord Jesus, thank you that you have given every one of us the opportunity to live the good life, to love life, to see good days. You haven't hidden it from us. We don't have to be lucky enough to get it. We just have to be wise enough to follow your instructions. God, help us do the simple things like watch our mouth. God, help us watch our step. Help us watch our heart. God, help us truly try to live a life of peace. To not do bad things just because it's easy or just because it's fun. God, to not talk trash. God, help us live above all of those things. God, help us be a light. Help us not look like all of the darkness around us. Help us look different and be different. Help us truly represent you. God, we only have this one life to live. I pray that we wouldn't waste it. I pray that we wouldn't try to pursue things that you've told us and even the world has told us won't bring us happiness, won't bring us satisfaction. God, help us live this life of wisdom so that we can live the good life by following your ways. We love you, we praise you, we thank you. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, guys.